Hey guys, welcome to today's episode. In front of me is June. I met her exactly 1 year prior, and at that time, I was like totally awkward, totally like kind of opposite. So, she gave me the belief that I could go and create content. That belief I didn't had. So, today's podcast goal is to just create that belief in you. It's not about just creating videos, it's about getting that belief in to do anything in life. So, June, could you just talk about yourself, just in few lines? What do you do?
Yeah,
Where you're from?
yeah, sure. Happy to. Thanks, Kishore, for inviting me to here. So basically, my name is June because I was born in June. That's always how I introduce myself. I'm a video marketing coach. So I actually helped my students to be able to do live videos anytime, anywhere.
Okay. So you recently got married. So like, how's the life balance right now? It's like,
Yeah.
like work, life, and like fitness and the career goals and what, like how's that balance
Oh,
right now?
I feel in fitness. Yeah, the fitness is still going on. Like I try to maintain the consistency. Yeah, so far it's so good for me. I mean, it's just like the different phases in life. So I'm kind of like adjusted to it. So, but then always there will be surprises all along. So all is well.
Or like most people like struggle between all this thing and then end up fighting with each other. Is it like is this thing happen with you, or like is this like for most of people happens?
I wouldn't say that it will not happen. It's just like not yet. Oh, sorry. And then by the time that it happened, maybe I already fully adjusted. So I think life is full of surprises. It's more about how we adapt to it. So far, so well. So hopefully no big surprises for me.
So, June, I want to talk about like how was your childhood? Like you grew up in Malaysia, so how was your childhood and upbringing, the values your parents bring in? Could you just like talk in the it's a small brief about it?
Yeah, sure, sure. So I grew up in like a middle class family. It's not like too poor nor like too rich, but based on our culturally, Malaysia is a very has a lot of different races. So I'm a Chinese born in Malaysian, so we represent about 20% of the nationality. So what happens is that for us to get what we want, we always need to give in extra work. So I believe that's how I was being brought up, where due to the culture and due to where I'm from, we always need, whenever we need to want something, we need to fight and get it. So I think that was my upbringing since I was really young. And whenever you are in middle class, um, I was being, my parents gave me a quite a good education. So as compared to my peers, because it is kind of like a private independent school. So I believe that gave me a little bit advantage compared to others, where I know that, hey, you know what, since my parents already invested so much in me, I need to fight for extra to actually make sure that they won't be disappointed. So I think for my childhood up until to like about 17 or 18, I was dependent on my parents. And then after that, I decided, hey, you know what, it's time to try something out yourself. So I started to become a home tutor for primary and high school students. And then from where, that is how I started my first ever self-employed job and try to be self-sufficient myself. And then after that will be I entered into college. I got full scholarship. I never have to pay for my education for my university. That was really something that I'm really proud of. And then that's where I started to venture into business. So yeah, fast forward, I think 15 to 20 years plus later, here I am.
It was like too brief, but like I want to ask you like in this 15 years span, whatever you talked about till now, like were there any resistance? Like let's say you want to pursue piano or like any other thing, did your parents or like some like was there any resistance? Like if you want to pursue any passion area?
Passion. Yeah, I have a lot of passion. I think I have too much of passion. So I always, since young, I always wanted to play piano. Yeah, you mentioned the right thing. I love to play piano when I was really young. But then we are not too rich to actually send me to, like, having a piano at home and to send me to the piano lesson. So it has always been my dream, right? I never get to do that. So I remember about 3 years ago, suddenly I was shopping, online shopping. I was like, oh, there's this keyboard. Okay, I always thought like piano is like so expensive, so I never thought about going to learn. But then why didn't I think about keyboard? Like it can be like a keyboard. It's also same thing like piano. Maybe I also get to play some song. So I always thought that keyboard cost me a ton. So which make me never really take actions up until to the point that I was like, wow, a keyboard only costs about, I think it's about $60 sending to my home. It's only $60. I was like, it is always your dream. Why not just buy one and then think about how to play it later? So that's what I did. After so many years, never get the chance to play piano, I finally, just because of a sudden chance of seeing a keyboard can be like so cheap, and I decided not to think about where I learned, but to get it, and then I'm forced to learn. So I think that is something fun. So ever since that, I never really play consistently. It's just like something that is fun and it's passion for me. So same thing as guitar. I always have a passion for guitar as well, and I decided to go and learn. So I think one thing that hold a lot of people back when doing things that they love is actually there are a lot of different reasons. Like no matter what reason it is, it can be like, oh, I have no time, it's too expensive. Maybe the thing that you want to do is too expensive. I have no time. I'm afraid. I do not know what to do. Like I think one of the most common reason can be I do not know what to do about it. I want to start a live video. I do not know what to do about it. I want to start a podcast channel. I do not know how. I do not know how to invite people. I do not know what kind of channel I'm going to start. There's so many different questions, but then it comes down to the end of one thing. This one thing is, how much do you want it? Because if there is only two answers, it's either yes or no. There is no in between, because the reasons that you're coming with a lot of different excuses, that is what I call, is because you are in between the yes and no. You kind of want to do it, but then you don't feel like doing it. Yeah. So that's why I think ultimately, if let's say you have been this phase before, I have been there. I am guilty of that. So I always ask myself, like, do you want to do it? If let's say it's a yes, you will figure things out. Yeah, just like Kishore, always figuring things out. Like he also, you also share a lot of tips with us. So that's why we are not going to know how to do it until we actually put our foot into it. Yeah, so that's what I thought.
Actually, I also had a similar story with my keyboard. I also got it like,
Oh,
I guess 7 months back. I also wanted to play, but I got bonus in I guess month of October, November, and like I just bought it. It was just an impulse purchase. I didn't know how to play. I didn't know which brand to choose. I later on came to know this is just a basic keyboard. It can't be. I thought like I could connect with my laptop. I guess I was not aware what's the difference between a MIDI keyboard and this thing. Like I just bought it. Yeah, it's like it's same journey for me also, trying to play and trying to learn.
high five.
Yeah, yeah. So like what was the experience of running that home tuition thing? Like the first business, what was the experience of running? Like were there any struggles coming up or any resistance from others?
That is actually the first I would say job that I have. I was a tutor, and then after doing the tutoring thing, I was feeling I had this feeling. I was like, oh, am I going to teach the same thing over and over and over again? I don't see that I'm that type of person that can teach the same thing every single year. That's why I decided, hey, you know what, this is not for me yet. So where I actually venture into doing tuition center. So I actually just to help to manage a tuition center that my brother set up. So he actually set up the tuition center I was trying to manage. So I also in that phase for about, I think 6 months time, while I was studying for my ACCA, that is studying and that is working and managing a business as well. It was tough for me because back then I invested my savings to a certificate in accounting that is called ACCA. It cost me about, I think about $3,000 US dollar. It was big amount to me back then, right? So while I need to make sure that I must pass, I always want to make sure that I do things right so that I don't have to do the second time. At the same time, need to manage the business and the tuition center as well. It was really tough in terms of, time management. And I was trying to figure out what I want in life. Back then, I was only about 21. I didn't know whether I loved the business that I wanted to do. I didn't know whether I'm going to be an accountant. Is it a job that I would enjoy at the time? And at the same time, I also had a e-commerce business of my own. It was a part-time business, passion. I was kind of like in between. Which one should I pick? Is it like a tuition center thing? Or should I continue with my ACCA, pass all the papers where there is still 3 more papers to go? And that is another decision. Oh, how about my own e-commerce, my baby that I developed since I was college? A lot of choices in front of me. I was only 21. You will come to the point that you do not know what is ahead of you when you make every single choice. So I remember that time I constantly ask myself a question. Should I continue my ACCA? Should I continue with my accountancy degree? Not degree. I graduated from degree, but the certificate paper. I constantly asking myself, and I ask myself every single day. I don't know how many times, for I think about half a year, until I finally make a decision. Oh, between yes and no, now that is a decision. I was like, just go ahead. I decided to drop my accountancy paper and just to pursue for my e-commerce business full time. And I decided that the tuition center business is really, really not for me. It's not something that I'm really passionate about. So I decided to stop that and fully focus on my e-commerce business. I think the challenges is that whenever you are being faced with different options in front of you, there is always something that we call the route not taken. We are so afraid of making wrong decisions, and we are being paralyzed of not making any decision at all. So this is so dangerous. Like, I couldn't imagine if, let's say, I constantly ask myself that question for about, just say, 2 years, what will happen? I don't even take the step. I didn't even take the decision. So yeah, so that is my learning point, is that you will never know what the world is going to be ahead of you if, let's say, you make the otherwise decision. So just to enjoy the journey and, be happy.
Yeah, actually, I had like similar issues that you are talking about. Right now, still, it's still in the process of whether I should like pursue this finance thing, or like whether I should build my tech side of thing, whether I should do content creation, or like also there is a fitness. I want to become fit. I want to be healthy, and I also want to like make more friends. Like there will like a battle. So I guess that like a little bit guidance would be like that help me out. Yeah. So what was your first, like this was your first idea, the e-commerce thing, or like the tuition center was your first idea? And then how you like get into the legal stuff? I guess on your LinkedIn profile, it's like prominent. Like how did you got
Yeah.
into that?
Yeah, sure. So for the legal tech, another business that I have is actually legal tech related. So what happens is that I think about 2015, yeah, somewhere about 2015, I hit a plateau in my e-commerce business. I feel like I don't feel the passion in it. And I feel like I'm doing the same thing over again. So something that I think I dislike is that I dislike the fact that I'm staying constant, but I feel like there should be a balance between innovation and managing. You can't always innovate and then not managing, and you can't always manage and then not innovate. And I feel like I hit a plateau. I don't feel the passion as I felt, like 10 years back. So that's where I think we were in a chat with my other friends. One is actually legal side. The other is actually they are doing the mobile app, like very IT. Myself, I think I'm more like to like a marketing kind of site, right? Marketing side. So we were like chatting. We were like thinking, hey, the tech startup is like the talk, right, of the town. So what could be the next tech startup that we can think of? So because we have a lawyer inside, right? So that's why we think about, hey, how about making law efficient? So that's why through a chat, it was a very, very casual chat. And then eventually we decided, hey, you know what? This is something that maybe we could do. maybe we can explore. So my side, I contribute the marketing side. We have friends from legal side, and then we have friends on app side. So that's why we started that. I think we started in 2016.
Wow, like I guess we have a lot of similarities going on. I have one of my friends, he's like passing out from engineering, and like he just he was doing some project, he needed help with marketing, and like I jumped into it, and now I realize, yeah, this web building a web app is like good thing. So we are like also thinking about what we could do over blockchain, what we could do over uh, like other platforms like Salesforce or any other thing. So I guess that's also a thing. I'm not sure what would it become, but it's still going on. So like
That's
if
awesome.
yeah, if you get so is your meaning like if we see any opportunity, we should jump into it, or like just analyzing, or what's your perspective? If you see if a new opportunity comes in right now, like maybe you need to leave this content creation or some other thing, whatever you're doing. So like, will you jump into that if it is see you are seeing the growth?
I would think there are different phases in my life where I make different type of decision. Yeah, I can relate to that. So when I was about 20s, early 20s, I grabbed any opportunity that I think I want to try on because I do not know what I want. So technically, when you do not know what you want, you need to take any opportunities that is presented to you and then decide if, let's say, this is something that you want to do for the long term. So instead of telling, oh, I do not know what I want, so let's try. And if, let's say, I don't love it, then no, that's a no in the future, right? So that was about my early 20s. I would make that type of decision when an opportunity is being presented to me. I tried to say yes. So things develop. And then after multiple businesses, now I'm in the stage where when an opportunity is being presented to you, I will think about, is it aligned with what I want to do? Is it really aligned with my goal? That's number one. Is it really something that I'm passionate about? Okay, maybe something about passion is very weird. Some people may not know your passion until you do, right? Makes sense. So if, let's say, the passion is something I have, if, let's say, the item, the opportunity has presented to me is something similar in the past that I've been through before, and I know that I don't enjoy it, I would say no. But let's say it's something that I've never done in the past. Yeah, maybe it's something to explore. I will then look at, hey, is it aligned with my values? Is it aligned with my personal goal in the next, next 1 year, next 2 years? If, let's say, it's a yes, then maybe I will consider trying. So I tend to say yes in my early 20s. And then now, because I have limited time, I know what I don't love and I know what I want, I tend to say no. So it really depends on individual. There is no like one straight answer what's the best. Yeah, but I think this is how I tend to make my decisions now.
Okay, like coming back to the main point, like as I told you, like I was attending an event a few days back, and
Mhm.
before that also, I generally had like conversation with multiple people, and I'm like that person, only social person, just to listen everyone. I generally avoid giving tips at the certain moment, but like I analyze things. So one thing that came up from like specifically female side was they don't trust themselves. Like, should I pursue this passion, or like what my husband would think about, what my child would think about, or like parents would think about, and any other thing, like what people would think about, or like I'm good enough or not. That's the thing that was coming up. That was the base of the main that previous question I asked. So do you have any guidance over this area, like the limiting beliefs that are coming up?
Yeah, great question, Kishore. Let me just validate something. I believe everyone who is listening to this, you have an inner fear that always that you feel like you are not good enough. Let's think about that. Everyone has that. I have that moment too all the time. But I feel like it is, firstly, it's about acknowledging that it's very normal that you aren't alone at thinking that. The second thing will be how to overcome that. So for myself, I think I always have a mantra that if other people can do it, I can learn how to do it. I may not be the best, but I can learn. So if let's say you have always this self-limited belief, I'm not good enough, or what other people are going to think about me. So let's take an example. So let's say today you are taking a group photo, a family group photo, like there are about 50 people in that photo. After the photo is being printed out, can I know like who you will be looking at first when you see the photo? So I think this example is being presented by Dale Carnegie. I don't know whether Kishore you heard that before or not. So
No.
the answer is every one of us, like 100% of us, will only look for ourselves in that photo. We'll look like how we smile, is it like a good posture, how we dress, and everything. Nobody will actually look for other people first, other than yourself. This is the 100% rule. Knowing this fact will help you. Why? Because we don't actually care about how other people look like. In the photo itself, I don't care if let's say I'm taking a picture of Kishore, I don't care how Kishore looks like as much as I care about myself. So other people comment is only temporarily. First is temporarily, and then secondly is that why should you care about what they say? Because it is not their life. There will be people just to make comments, just to to discourage you. So why should you let them to affect you? So that's the second thing. If let's say you're living for your own life, you shouldn't care about what other people have comment about the thing you want to try. Unless it's illegal, unless it's something that you don't have time, you have other priorities, right? So that's why I think always never let what other people think to stop you from doing what you want to do, especially maybe for teenagers, you want to start a business, you want to venture into business. Let's say your parents say, hey, just focus on studies. Who says that you can't juggle two things at the same time? So right now, you have to think about what the other person's priority is, why they make that kind of comment, challenge that as well, and remember that you are living for yourself, not for someone else. Yeah, I think that will help a lot.
Yeah. So just that was like kind of a powerful. I was just listening to you. I didn't got time to respond back. Okay. So like I was just listening to you at that moment, and I didn't got time to respond back. I was just thinking about it, like, and I guess I hope that answers the people's queries. So right now, I just want to ask you, like, to just wind up the podcast, like, what are your things you are doing right now, and what are your tips for the like people listening to this podcast right now?
Oh, sorry, come again.
Things you are doing personally in your life right now, and the second part of this thing is like whatever interest you are pursuing right now, and like what are you have the tips for the people who might be listening to you.
All right, sure. So right now I'm starting a 7-day amazing video challenge. So what I help is that I realized a lot of time we had the self-limiting belief is also I can't even do a video. I had that before I able to do a video. So right now we are starting a 7-day amazing video challenge, not only helping you to do the videos in 7 days, but also helping you through the videos that you're able to find your own voice and able to overcome your self-limiting belief. Because if let's say you are always think that you can't do video and you manage to do that in 7 days, that will change a lot about your self-limiting belief. So for those out there, whatever that you have been thinking about, you want to do it, you know what? Today is a sign for you that you are listening to this podcast, and it is a sign for you to just do it whenever you are looking for a sign. So this is a sign.
Yeah, like actually I also got started by just taking a challenge. I just took a 21-day challenge to shoot myself, and that made the big difference. Before that I was just shy person, not like coming up, not showing up, but like the one moment of decision changed everything. That's from my side. I guess that's the thing, and I hope everyone listening to this podcast got the personal answers they were looking for. That's it for today's episode. We'll see you another day, and I will try to bring on June if you need her again on this show. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you
Thanks a
so
lot.
much, Kishore.
Yeah.